Hi everyone! Today I'm going to talk about some mistakes you should avoid if you're coming to the Netherlands. I'm not going to make these clear bullet points because I think that most of these are quite interrelated. So I'm just going to mention them as I go. And I know that it's been a long time. I hope you missed me. I missed you guys. But I've been really busy looking for a house, finding it, renovating it. And I just didn't have the time to make a video, so here I am. So first of all, finding a place in Amsterdam, as I mentioned also before, is really difficult. And I know that you will tend to look for a place before arriving here, and you will go to Facebook and you will find a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of people putting out a lot of ads. But you have to be really careful because there are a lot of scammers that are trying to get your money. So what I would really recommend you to do, try to find a place for a couple of weeks or a month or 2 months. You could do that on Airbnb. You can contact people saying that, hey, I'm planning to move there and I need a place for a month or 2, so you can make a deal with them maybe instead of paying like daily rates. And once you come here, you get to see the city, you get to discover different neighborhoods, and you get to actually meet people that you're going to rent from. So you always see the people, you always see a contract, you always get your keys. So never ever transfer any money if you haven't received any of these. And if you can, work with a real estate agent. So second mistake you should try to avoid is meeting people of your nationality immediately. I know that it's a lot easier to meet people that speak the same language as you do and that know your culture, but you should avoid that because if you do that, you're going to miss out on the culture of the Netherlands, you're going to miss out on the language, and you'll never actually really adapt to the country that you live in. And also, speaking of the language, if you don't feel comfortable speaking in English, you should try to really practice your English and really get used to being able to express yourself in English. And I said English, but of course Dutch is a lot more important because that's the language of the Netherlands. So one big advice on that, try to get Dutch lessons as soon as you arrive in the country. Because what will happen is that if you get a basic knowledge of Dutch, because you live in the country, without you noticing it, your Dutch will improve. For instance, what I did was I took the first 2 levels of Dutch lessons at the university that I was studying at. And then for a long time I didn't do anything about my Dutch. I didn't take any lessons, I didn't try to learn it. And the next time I decided to improve my Dutch, when I took the exam to determine what level I was at, I was in the 5th level then. So basically I had just learned all the topics of 3rd and 4th levels, just being in the country, just hearing it on the street, on the public transport, etc. Another really important thing in the Netherlands is the health insurance. Everybody needs one, there's no way of getting around this and avoiding getting a Dutch health insurance. And besides that, you should also get really acquainted with the Dutch healthcare system. So basically there are some health insurance companies that you can choose from and they have different packages, so you can decide what kind of coverage you want to get. And there's a phenomenon called the eigen risico, which is your own risk. And you can determine how much risk you want to take yourself. The lowest eigen risico in the Netherlands is 385 euros and the highest one is I think 885 euros. So basically what you're saying is, if you say my own risk should be 385 euros, if something happens to you, you will pay the first 385 euros yourself. And whatever expenses you get on top of that within 1 year, your health insurance company will cover that. So if you say your own risk will be 800 euros, of course you're going to pay less per month, but if something happens to you, you will have to pay the first 800 euros from your pocket. And what else you need to get when you arrive to the Netherlands? A Dutch debit card. In some countries, credit cards are still used very often, like for instance in the US, I know it is used, in Turkey it's also used quite often. But in the Netherlands, it's almost not used at all. Dutch people just have credit cards for one-day travel, for booking tickets, etc. But they don't really use them in daily life. And if you go to a supermarket, for instance, your credit card will not even be accepted. Cash is also not very common here actually. Like what people use is what they call the PIN pass, your debit card, your bank card. So try to get one as soon as when you arrive here, because that's also what you're going to use when you get your telephone contract, or you know, when you want to pay for things, etc. It's very common to use it here. Another advice, it's a cliche, I know, but I have some good points I think to mention in this one. When you come to the Netherlands, get a bike. What is even more important is that you get a good lock or a good insurance for your bike. What I did was, of course, when I came to the Netherlands, I bought a bike, and I think in the first 3 and 4 years I had like 6 or 7 bikes stolen. And in the end I was really tired of riding these like shitty bikes, so I decided, okay, I'm gonna get a really good bike for myself, and I'm gonna get a good lock, and I'm gonna get a good insurance for my bike. And you know what? After that my bike didn't get stolen at all, and I never had to actually use my insurance, which is good, I guess. But I met so many people that were living in the center, for instance, and they never kind of felt the need to buy a bike, but they said after they got one, their life really changed. Because Dutch people use their bikes a lot, and when you want to, for instance, meet people, or when you want to go to a place, your like this measurement of distance becomes how many minutes it takes by bike. So for instance, if something takes like more than 20 minutes, people are gonna tend to maybe even not go there. And we said, okay, get a good bike, insurance and lock. And what people do here also is get a good raincoat and even rain trousers, which I personally don't like, and I'm refusing to do this. But if you do that, that is gonna make your life a lot easier. Because guess what? It rains a lot in the Netherlands. And in this video, I'm not going to talk about salaries and how much money you should be making in the Netherlands, because that's a topic on its own. I think we could spend like really a lot of time talking about this. But what I will say is you should try to negotiate on your salary if you're coming to the Netherlands. And you should really do your research, use websites like Glassdoor and ask people, and you should know really how much you should be making to be able to like make ends meet basically. Why am I saying this, like especially for people that are moving to the Netherlands? Because I think somehow like Dutch people know their way of like getting like cheaper rent, for instance, or you know, if they want to buy things, like getting good discounts, etc. And when you're here, you're not gonna know any of that. So probably in the first couple of years, you're gonna need a lot of money to cover your rent. Like what I personally did was I shared a room with other students when I first came here. Then I shared a room with young professionals, etc. And then finally, like I found this project that was quite affordable for young people like myself. So at least in the first couple of years, you're gonna need quite some money to cover your rent. But having said that, of course, the Netherlands is an expensive country for everyone. So you're gonna need some good salary to cover your expenses. But what is good is that salaries here are quite good, so you're probably gonna be fine. So guys, these are some of the things that I wanted to mention as some mistakes that you should avoid if you're coming to the Netherlands. If you have some questions because you're planning to travel to the Netherlands or move to the Netherlands, please ask them below. And if you're already living here and you have some advice for people, please also mention them in the comments section below. Thank you so much guys for watching my video. And there's one thing I want to mention. Please also do subscribe to my channel, because I feel like here I'm giving so much information to people and I'm spending quite some time. But still I haven't hit 1000 subscribers yet. So please subscribe to my channel and like my videos and comment in the section below. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Bye bye.